All right, here we are, our first ever session of getting to know your IT camp presenters or your summer learning academy, whichever you want to call it. I'm here with Lauchie McKinnon, who's graciously joined me on my first ever session. I kind of put a call out. He jumped in, didn't know what he was getting into, but he's graciously come to join us today. Lauchie, welcome. And if you want to take a moment to introduce yourself and where you do, what you do, where at school you're at, and all that fun stuff.
Well, thanks, Mario. And yeah, well, I always volunteer for Mario, and I teach at Redcliffe Middle School, and I formerly taught down at Cape Breton Highlands in Margree for about 10 years, and then I've been at Redcliffe in South, so I've gone from P to 12, and currently I am going to be LD teacher for about 7 months next year, and grade 6 resource.
No, I didn't know that. Well, good, good. Now I've met Lauchie actually through IT camp. I don't know how many years ago, and we've kind of connected ever since. And I've voluntold him to come present at some of my PD sessions we've done in Halifax and things like that. So I've always welcomed Lauchie with his knowledge. So I know Lauchie, your UDL is kind of your big thing, but I know you have your hand in a whole bunch of different technologies, and you're always wanting to learn more. So do you want to just talk a little bit about technology used in your day-to-day role at work, at school, working with students?
Yeah, the one thing that I've been working really hard on is, and I don't make a secret of it, I have an LD, and I've survived 50 years, 51 this year, and starting to forget now. And and the thing that I was really helpful for me as a student, and I've been a student. I've just finished. I have one more credit left for my final master's degree,
Oh, nice.
and whenever you go back, you kind of put yourself back into the shoes of being a student again, and reminding yourself of the things that you need to do to be successful in the classroom. And the technology that I use a lot is because that's what we are based on, is Google Read and Write, and do a lot of executive functioning. Love Google Keep, and presented that with a couple of really good friends, Liel. We did the Google Keep as a presentation, and the lady who's going to present with me this time around on looking at UDL and online learning, Carlo O'Leary, and just love the flexibility. It's a tiny little tool, but it can be a really powerful tool when you get to know it a little bit. And then surprisingly enough, Google Slides has been really like, I've grown in leaps and bounds with what I can do with that. And we do exploratories at Redcliffe, and Kyle, another teacher at the school, and I, when we do our exploratory, it's 6 weeks. So we've broken it up into doing 2 different groups. So I usually do slides, and he does video editing, and then the kids rotate back and forth and kind of make it fun to kind of get it into the kids' hands. So what's nice about it for me is that at least twice a year, I have to figure out new activities for slides or for whatever else we're doing. So it kind of keeps me fresh in the classroom, kind of pieces that I don't always get a lot of time to spend with.
Nice. Yeah, I've been learning a lot more of the accessibility features and a lot of those Google tools. They've been
Yes.
great. Closed captioning, lots of things. I've been learning. Actually, I was teaching a course this summer, and one of the assistive technology specialists from my region was in my course as a student. But she taught me a lot just about types of fonts to use, and just little things about screen readers and what they can pick up on your screen. I learned so much just from her and from others in the group. It was really great. Like, I'm really guilty of putting the if I wanted to go to a link, I put click here, but I was told that the screen readers don't really capture that and to actually write out what the link might be. So I'm learning a lot too. So I enjoy all these little tips that I see you tweeting about sometimes as well. So
Well, it's funny because you're stealing my
oh,
presentation.
sorry.
Yeah, no, that's I went and found something from Spain, and it, like, just basic kind of little tiny things that I think when we look at UDL, and there's this movement in education and in life about incrementalism, that a lot of the things that we're trying to do sometimes gets overwhelming because we're just trying to do such a big thing. And what's nice is that we can start doing the kinds of changes in short, little, tiny pieces, and they add up over time for our kids. So that it's not, like throwing on a screen reader in class. Our mics would drop, but as I was presenting, it was still showing up on the screen reader, right?
Yeah.
And so it worked, kind of thing. But it's neat, the things that we can do. There'll be a lot of things that will not disappear when I don't do online teaching. That I will take it back to the classroom and still do it there in a way that I wouldn't have thought I would use it before.
Right. Yeah. Very good. So you kind of alluded there a little bit to the IT camp and the session you're doing. Do you want to just give us a little overview of what the session's called? What we can, I know, I don't want to reveal too many of your secrets, but I know it'll be a good session. You want to just maybe give a little blurb about what it's all about?
I wanted to call it Naked and Afraid, but Liel let me do it. So it's called UDL Teaching Online. And what I did is, I'm no expert, but I was really lucky. I was doing master's courses as well this summer, and my professor was really good about letting me write about AT. And so I even feel like I'm going to do a better job than I would have done had I not had the courses. But basically, kind of like one little secret that I'll share is I think I did my UDL stuff, and like my wife was asking me, why is it taking so long? Like you're putting a lot of time into this stuff. And I redid my curriculum about 5 times because every time I would do it, I was learning something different, like to the point that Google Slides with a 1-pager that told kids exactly where to go with all the links in pictures on the top. But it took me 5 iterations to get there.
Right.
Because it basically boiled down to 2 reasons. One was that the screens loaded down really quick, because if you're waiting for a Google Doc to load down, you're waiting for the whole doc. Whereas if you're waiting for a Google slide to load down, one slide can load down and the other ones can still follow, but they can start right away. And the 1-pager up front with all the links just took them to exactly where I wanted them to go. Whereas if I had stuck them into Google Classroom, it was just too much to find it in that list. I sometimes wish Google Classroom looked a little bit like Moodle. Moodle still has a piece of my heart.
Yeah. All right. So I mentioned that you are on Twitter. Do you want to, I don't know if you want to mention your Twitter handle where people can connect with you. And
it's Lauchie, LOCKEY09.
All right, perfect. So we can find Lauchie on Twitter. I know I follow him, and he's always putting out some good tips that I always pick up on. But before we go, we have one final thing we're going to do. I'm going to, I don't know what I would call it, 20 questions. I'm going to say 20. We're going to try to go through 20 questions in 60 seconds. We might get through all of them, we might not, but it's just about having fun. So just like on Family Feud, the clock will start after my first question. So, and it's going to be, some of the questions seem easy, but when you're on the spot, I'm sure it'll be hard to
Okay.
I know all right. So I'm going to start with the first question. I'll start the timer, and then when we get to 1 minute, we'll get to 1 minute. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
All right. What do you prefer, coffee or tea?
I don't drink either.
What's your favorite dessert?
Ice cream.
Where did you study for your Bachelor of Education?
Cinevex.
If you weren't a teacher, what would you be?
An actuarium.
Ooh. Have you ever traveled outside of North America?
No, unfortunately.
Do you have a nickname?
Yeah, Bam Bam Bigelow, big time babysitter.
Wow, wasn't expecting that. All right. What's your guilty pleasure?
Game of Thrones.
If you won the lottery, what would be the first thing you buy?
A chair at Cinevex to teach assistive technology.
Oh. What is your greatest wish for students?
That they enjoy learning.
Do you have a hidden talent?
I wish.
Who was your grade primary teacher?
Benjamin McIsaac.
If you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Pizza, although I join you for dinner anytime.
That's our time. Those are awesome answers. Now, don't ask me to repeat that nickname. I have no idea where that came from, but it's very unique. I can say that.
Well, my friend Francis McNeil, who was a teacher as well, he was retired now long ago, and grew up in his house, and was like, so everybody in the house got a nickname, and so that was mine.
All right, good. Well, we'll end on that note.
Okay,
Lauchie, I appreciate you taking time to do
no
this. My
problem.
very first one. You're the inaugural episode, the guinea pig, whatever you want to call it. And I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me and do this.
Thank you very much.
All right.
See you soon. Bye.
All right. Take care.